Welcome back to the Math Concepts. Today is we're dividing polynomials, right? So in dividing polynomials, as you can see, we have 5x to the third plus 10x squared minus 30a, and this is being divided by 5a. The basis for a problem like this is that we're gonna take the divisor, which in this case is the 5a, and we're going to divide it into each of these monomials here that made up this trinomial. So for example, the 5a to the third will be divided by 5a. The 10a squared will be divided by 5a. And the minus 30a will be divided by 5a. So this is so because this monomial here, as you can see, should divide each term in that polynomial there. So let us cancel. So the coefficients will cancel if possible. For example, 5 divided by 5, that's 1. And then when a goes into a to the third, when you divide, you subtract powers. Remember, a is the same as a to the 1. So we're subtracting 1 from this, leaving 2. So what we have is actually a to the second power. For this piece in the middle, 5 into itself 1, 5 into 10, that's 2. A to the first power will cancel one of these, leaving just a. So we're left with positive 2a. For the last piece here, 5 into itself is 1. 5 into negative 30 will give us negative 6. So this is negative 6. A cancels itself one time. So we're left with a squared plus 2a minus 6. And this is our final response. Let's take a look at this second problem here. At this time, we're dividing everything by 7x. And what do we have? We have 14 x to the fourth minus 42 x to the third plus 21 x squared minus 28, all divided by 7. So this is just another way of writing the division symbol. So we're going to approach this the same way. We're going to take 14x to the fourth, and we're going to divide this by 7x. Then we're going to take negative 42 x to the third, we're going to divide this by 7x. We're going to take positive 21 x to the third, x to the second, we're dividing this by 7x. And negative 28, we're dividing this by 7x. Now, as we go through this, what we're going to notice is that the coefficients will divide. For example, 7 into itself 1 time, 7 into 14, 2. For the letters, this is a to the 1, x to the first power. It's going to cancel 1 out of that 4, leaving 3. So I'm left with 2x. Let me put this in a clear spot. I'm left with 2x to the third. 7 into itself 1. 7 into 42, that's 6. So this is a negative 6. X into x to the third. I'm going to be left with x squared. So we have an x squared coming down. 7 into itself is 1. 7 into 21 is 3. So I'm left with positive 3. Look at the x. X will cancel 1 here, leaving 1. So we're talking about having x right there. This one might be a little bit tricky if you're not thinking about it. So let's go coefficients first. 7 into the 28, that's 4. Take a look. This is x, but there is no x here to be canceled, which means that that x will remain at the bottom. So my final response for that part is going to be minus 4 over x. And take a look. Remember, there was no x here to cancel that. And that is the reason why we still have the x at the bottom right there. And that is the answer for that part. Let's take a look at another problem. All right, so we're dealing with 16y to the third plus 46y to the second plus 40y to the 4, all divided by negative 4. Let's take a look. Now we're going to have that 16y to the third all over negative 4y to the third. Then we're going to have 46y to the second all over negative 4y to the third. And finally, positive 40y to the second all over negative 40y to the third. All right, so that's what we have right there. So we could quickly go through this. So let us take a look. This negative 4 will cancel itself one time, but it's going to cancel into the 16. It's going to give me negative 4, right? So then and then y to the third will cancel fully itself, y to the third. So I'm left with negative 4 right here. Negative 4 into 46 will give us, if you put in it in decimal. So this is going to give me negative 11.5 for the numbers. But if you take a look now, this can be problematic because when we observe this, we're having the power of 2 at the top and the power of 3 at the bottom for the y. So it simply means that y squared will cancel fully into y to the third, leaving y at the bottom. So we have to just take note of that. And a similar thing will happen in this case. So let us put it together finally. Negative 4 into 40 will give me negative 10. And then this y to the second cancel fully into y to the third, leaving 1 at the bottom. So we're looking at having here a y at the bottom. But if you take a closer look at this, we could put this together to form one thing. So finally, this is negative 4. But this is going to give me negative 21.5 over y. Oh, there's another one here. All right. All right. So I think this is the last one. Based on the time that I have, this is the last one. We're going to squeeze in one more. All right. So you take a look at this one, right? So we're having a fraction dividing here. So with the letters, we know that we could subtract the powers easily. But with the fraction, for example, the coefficient. So we're talking about, we're going to have this divided by this. And then we're going to have this divided by this when we're ready to do that. So let's do them in parts, right? Take your time. All right, so let's look at it like this. So I have 1/4, and I have x to the third. And I'm going to divide this by negative 1/4 x squared. So that is one piece. Also, I have 1/3 x to the third, x to the second, and I'm going to divide this by negative 1/4 x to the second. So this is what we really have to execute right here. There are many ways we could approach this. So I'm just going to say, take the fractions, and you could just work them out quickly. Because when we divide fractions, we actually can multiply and then reciprocate. So if we multiply, then this becomes 4 over 1. So we can put a negative there. So when you multiply, you're going to reciprocate the one that comes after. So basically, I'm just quickly trying to work out the number, and you're seeing that we're getting a 1 here because this cancels this. So the result of this is a negative 1. So what it means is that negative 1 is going to come down in front of my variables. So that's going to be a negative 1. And we're not going to write the 1 in algebra in front of a letter. So I'm just going to write the negative. So the negative will come down right there, right? So everybody sees that we have a negative. But if you have x to the, so take a look, if we have x to the third and we divide this by x to the second, you could see that when you divide, you subtract powers. So I'm just going to be left with x to the 1, but we're not going to write that. So we're just going to write x, right? So we have x coming from that only. Now for the second piece, take a quick look. If we have 1/3 and we're going to divide this by negative 1/4, Remember, when you divide fractions, you can change the fraction to multiplication. You can change the division to multiplication and then reciprocate the last fraction. So at this stage, this is what we have. There's nothing to be canceled. So 1 times -4 will give me -4. 3 times 1 will give me 3. So this is actually -4/3. That is going to come down here. And then you could take a look. If I divide x to the second here, if I divide x to the second by x to the second, it cancels itself fully. So there will be no x that is left. So the final answer is actually -x minus 4/3. And there you go. It simply means that we have to take our time when we're working out these. Try not to make any error. Thank you for watching Daily Maths Concepts. See you next time for more reviews on Algebra 1.